I am muted in some ways, but okay. Sorry everybody, my audio was off there, but again, this is just a thanks for your support kind of stream because some of you have given some items to me as well as to other chasers and also along the Michigan Storm Chasers network, and just appreciate your guys' support. So that is why I'm here, and I'm thankful for you guys. So again, some of the things you guys donated, again, if you've donated one of these items, reach out to me, and I want to thank you for the stuff that you have given. One thing that has been used, or one thing that has been given, is this little useful tool right here. This right here is an anemometer. Okay, so again, you guys have noticed maybe on past streams that I've had one of those wind anemometers. Actually, the calibration hasn't been really accurate on that. This is going to be very useful because it is calibrated, and now it is something that will get a more accurate measurement of wind data. So again, thank you guys for your donation of this tool. It'll be very useful, especially for recording those stormy days like possibly tomorrow we might see, which we'll go over in just a minute. Some of you guys have also donated some other items. One thing I'm especially appreciative of is a first aid kit. This will provide usefulness if ever we have to use it. Hopefully we never have to use something like this on a storm chase, but again, this first aid kit will prove very useful when we go out and we see people that might need help, you know, and so that will be a useful tool that we have. So again, thank you to whoever provided this item as well. This is a very valuable piece that will be used once I get my Subaru fixed. As some of you know, my transmission in my Subaru is out right now, so it's going to be a couple weeks before we're back on the road with that, but nevertheless, it is likely that we will still be chasing later on. Another thing that has been gifted by you guys is this weather radio. Again, going to be very useful. I actually do not have a weather radio at this current moment, so this weather radio will be useful, especially when in the middle of the night we might have a storm that comes through. It'll get that alarm signal going, and we'll have valuable info coming from this even during days where we might be streaming radar or something like that. So again, appreciate your guys' support in that regard also as well. Another thing that you guys have gifted is just some simple things such as a sunroof cover and also window covers. I want to say I appreciate you guys that donated these as well. These items right here, again, I was hoping that maybe I could use them to some particular advantage, and possibly if I need to go and like pitch my Subaru somewhere, that'll be something I can use to possibly kind of just camp out somewhere. And I appreciate those of you that donated that item. Another item that has been donated is a very useful flashlight. This one looks to be very bright. I haven't actually looked at this just yet, but hello to all of you that are joining in. Dawn, Shannon, also Jazz. It's good to have you guys here. But this flashlight will be good, especially if you have a pretty decent storm that comes through in the nighttime. Be able to shine a bright light on a situation that's going on. That will be useful again in case we need to help someone in need. So that will provide a useful benefit. And again, if you are one of the people that has helped to provide one of these items, I would love to give you a shout out. I do appreciate what you guys have done here. And again, whoever donated the vacuum cleaner, much appreciated. This right here, again, I'm chasing out by the sand dunes quite often, so that'll help to keep things cleaned up, and that's something I've been desperately needing as of recently, so thank you for that as well. And then also, last but not least, this right here is a mount for a laptop. Now again, it's a tripod that kind of mounts to your passenger seat, but this I will find quite useful. Currently, there may not be a laptop that I have that might not be able to be mounted to the passenger seat, but it also at the same time will be able to provide some abilities to mount potentially an iPad or my camera on the inside of my vehicle, so we're not dealing with a issue with with my overheating cell phone. So I appreciate that, and also we'll put these items to use a little bit. And again, if you are here, want to pitch a potential idea to you, thinking about maybe offering some memberships maybe later on, and I want to know what you guys would want out of a potential membership from Great Lakes Weather. So just want to throw that out there, throw out some ideas, and I also want to thank Michigan Storm Chasers for helping us get some of this information on some things that we can use and some things we need out there. Again, it's greatly appreciated, the support that you guys provided, and again, can't chase without you guys, so it's pretty nice to have you guys out there supporting. So now a couple other things. Again, you guys know my transmission's out in my vehicle. We might be chasing tomorrow. The question is, will we be able to? I'm going to be having a different vehicle for the next couple of weeks. We will also be at the Mackinac Bridge on Monday. I don't know if anyone else that is in there is coming up there, okay, but we will be at the Mackinac Bridge. We might even do a little bit of a stream there with regards to it. I think we did that last year. It was pretty fun. So feel free to check us out then, but let's get to now the forecast for Saturday, and I want to provide that to you guys. So let's get right to it. So again, the latest 0Z models are coming in from the HRRR, so those will be in very shortly. We'll be able to do a quick little overview of things when that comes through. This right here is the latest Euro model. I like to look at the Euro with some things. Hello Caitlin, hello Dawn. Let me make sure that, let me check and see if there's people checking in on Facebook. Good to have all you guys here. But Euro model coming in right now. Let's progress it forward just a little bit with Friday afternoon. This is at about 1 p.m. 2 p.m. actually. You may notice that the Euro is putting out some storms firing across portions of central Michigan. Okay, so it does put out a marginal severe sounding. The SRH values are not really that impressive. Instability values are around 2,500, so that's what's kind of being shown. It also shows a little bit of an elevated cloud base above 1,000 feet. Really, for tornado potential, what you want is a cloud base that's 1,000 feet or lower. It's a little bit above 1,000 feet. So the higher the cloud base is, the lower the tornado potential really becomes. So right now that cloud base does appear a little bit to be elevated with those storms. There are some storms that might become surface-based, particularly in the afternoon, as you noticed by about 5 p.m. The Euro is putting out some thunderstorms, forming a line across portions of eastern Michigan, still packing that marginal severe potential, but it still does show some elevated cloud bases with that as well. So that's something that's being put out by this model. It also shows some storms possibly developing across southern Indiana and southern Ohio Saturday afternoon. So that'll be something to keep in mind if you're up in that region. Let's take a look and see if the HRRR is coming in. It's only 11 hours updated, so we'll take a look at the 18Z for now. But one thing we're watching with this is the development of convection during the day tomorrow. What you notice is that the HRRR does put out some of these storms making their way into portions of Michigan in the morning, but gradually weakening. There is potential for some atmospheric recovery on the back side, and that atmospheric recovery is what could generate some storms later on in the afternoon. And it looks like those storms will be more across portions of eastern Michigan based on the HRRR model. Sounding you get out with this, again, spin is not really overall that impressive with these. In fact, let's take a look at the SRH values in just a minute. We're going to freeze frame it right here and take a look at surface-based CAPE and some of the severe weather dynamics that are in place for this setup based on the HRRR. Surface-based CAPE, again, your instability is really focused across eastern Michigan as well, near the Detroit area and areas to the north, so closer to that thumb region. Your instability also kind of sags into portions of southwest Michigan as well, kind of along that cold front. If storms do initiate down there, these are where I'll be chasing storms if they do initiate in this region, which I think they could. Some models are actually putting out that they might actually initiate as early as Kalamazoo County. So that's probably where I will target if these storms do happen to occur there, and those will likely be earlier in the day, probably around noon or so. But we're going to take a look at storm relativity. Your spin in the atmosphere, again, we want to take a look at the strength of spin in order to measure tornado potential, and really your spin kind of struggles where these storms initiate. The further east you go into portions of the Detroit area, your SRH does look to be increasing, and there is a band of increased SRH across portions of central and southwest Michigan. So if a storm can tap into that better spin, it could become supercellular and have a better potential of producing a brief, weak tornado with that as well. So, hang on, I just realized that Instagram viewers can't see it. So we're actually going to fix that real quick. Hopefully that is better. Hopefully they can see the models now with that. Hopefully. I'm trying to make it work here. Yeah, that's not going to work. Okay, I will put out some weather models on Instagram a little bit later, but I'm trying to work this out here. Spin values are around, in Kalamazoo County, will be around 130 in the 3rd kilometer, but if you go to the 1st kilometer, which is something that really makes a difference, your spin at the 1st kilometer is pretty much weak across all boards based on what the HRRR is. So again, that spin in the 1st kilometer is really a big deal when it comes to tornado potential. So it's less than 50 in most places. It gets up to about 100 right close to the Canada-Michigan border. But with that lower SRH in the 1st kilometer, it kind of makes me less it makes me pessimistic with regards to tornado potential with these storms. So that's something that we're watching out for with this. But let's go to the NAM 3K and see what the NAM 3K says. The NAM likes to go overboard sometimes with these setups, so we're actually going to take a look and see exactly what it projects to occur with this. So let me go to the reflectivity, and let's zoom in on Michigan, because Michigan's the primary area that we want to look out for at this time. But let's progress it. Alright, so at about 8 or 9 a.m. you do notice that there is a band of storms potentially making its way into Michigan. Will these storms last? That is the question. Convective aligned models are really saying that that's not going to be the case. They'll likely weaken, and then there's going to be potential for atmospheric recovery on the backside. Now, the NAM 3K has put out cells developing as early as 5 p.m. across portions of St. Joseph County. Now, I think this will likely be shifted further east. The thing is, the NAM kind of plays it a little bit slower than other models do, but the NAM is also downtrended with this setup that compared to earlier today when it was forecasting some tornado potential. It also is saying very weak SRH in the 1st and the 3rd kilometer, despite the fact that there's going to be increased CAPE and lower cloud bases. These storms do look to be just capable of packing in maybe some damaging winds and hail at this current point. Now, that's not to say there could be some storms that become a little bit supercellular. The ones on the east side of the state, the NAM definitely has not really downtrended, but this is further east towards the Thumb region. You can see that you have some cells firing east of Flint, Michigan, based on this convective aligned model. Again, give or take some distance with regards to where these develop, and they could develop earlier as well. But you do see that with this sounding, you have spin values exceeding 150, and again, 150 is kind of that baseline you want for tornado potential with these storms. You do have CAPE values about 2,240, and you do have low cloud bases and sufficient directional shear. So, going to be an interesting setup tomorrow. Not really sure how it's going to play. It definitely is going to be riding along that cold front. That cell, if the NAM is right, which is it really, in St. Joe County, I would definitely pursue something like that. St. Joe County is a golden state for chasing. That's all I can say. But I guess I'll open it up to questions at this time and see if any of you guys have things you want to ask me with regards to the setup for Saturday. I'll stay live for just a few minutes while you send in your questions, so feel free to chime in. Any changes for Belleville, Caitlin is asking. So let's see here. I'm going to do that real quick. Any changes for Belleville? Let me browse that real quick. Join me whistling while I try to pull it up. Come on, Google Maps. Just going to get an exact pinpoint just so that I should know where Belleville is now, but I just want to check and make sure. Belleville is right there, on the southern side of Detroit. I would say the focus of severe weather potential is actually north of Detroit and northeast of Detroit, but it's not to say there's still could be some severe weather in the Belleville area. This is Friday, so hopefully I clarified that. This is Friday. Oops, my bad. Near Romulus. Okay, yeah, so you're kind of right in this general area, right here in the southern edge of Detroit. Again, you guys are dealing with, I think, a marginal risk for severe weather, if I'm correct. Let's take a look at the day 2 outlook. Yeah, so the baseline for the slight risk actually kind of just sits to your north. So I would keep in mind that there is a chance for all severe hazards, though I think the overall chance for all severe hazards is low. And with the latest HRRR model, that tornado potential really kind of downtrended based on what I saw with that. So, but you do see 2% tornado risk on the eastern side of the state, including the Thumb region. I know there's going to be several chasers out in the Thumb region tomorrow. Not me. It's a 3-hour drive, and my car is dead, so not going to work. But the wind potential is about 15%. Hail potential is lower than that. So it looks like mainly a damaging wind threat, if anything. And based on what I'm seeing with the models, it looks like it's going to be isolated. I would say you don't have to panic. This is definitely not outbreak scenario. This is way less than that. It's something where it's just like, there could be a pop-up severe thunderstorm or two in that slight risk and marginal risk area. Now, I'll probably check the models in the morning and providing some updates with regards to the severe weather threat then. It's better to have the data right from the morning, and then also checking the surface analysis of the weather later on as well. So, again, looks like we are good on all fronts now. So, I think I'm going to shut down the stream. Haven't eaten dinner yet. Need to do that more. But thanks for watching, everybody, and I appreciate your support once again. Again, can't do it without you guys. So my car's out of commission until September 11th. Nevertheless, we will likely be chasing locally tomorrow and bridge walk chasing on Monday. So thanks for watching. See you all later. Hold up. I need a freeze framer for that. Jazz. That donation of $100. That's wild. Thank you so much. Wow. That's awesome. Thank you. Yeah. Appreciate that. That's awesome. Again, the goal with that is to put it to use to boost streaming capabilities, which that will go heavily towards that. I'm very close, so thank you for your support. That's awesome. Alright, just wanted to chime in with that. Thanks again, and I will see you later.